Hello and welcome back to TNWKS, the Now We Know show, the show where we discuss a topic of interest, and by the end we will have learnt something new, and hopefully you will too. I'm Zak.
And I'm Buzz. And yes, we're back with another Preppers episode.
Oh, we do love our Preppers episodes.
We love the Preppers episodes, and so do our listeners. We get so many people commenting on our social media about the Preppers episodes and giving us thumbs up that it's becoming kind of a regular thing, at least, once in a while.
Well, by this point, yes.
We need to return to the Preppers one. And this week we're talking all about M.R.Es.
If you enjoy the Now We Know Show podcast, support Zak Wylde Productions on Patreon or join our members on YouTube for early access, ad-free content and exclusive episodes. Here we are, back in the studio. I'm sure we've mentioned M.R.Es before in our previous prepping podcasts. And I'm pretty sure that you asked me one time what M.R.E. actually stood for. I can't remember.
You can't remember. Oh, bless you. Well, the Now We Know show is all about learning things.
Hopefully this time it will be embedded in my brain.
It will get in there. So for those, I dare say, if you're a prepper, you know what an M.R.E. is. If you're a hiker, you know what an M.R.E. is. If you're in the forces or ex-forces, you know what an M.R.E. is. Loads of people use M.R.Es, but for those people that are listening that might be thinking, what are these people going on about? An M.R.E. is an abbreviation of meal ready to eat.
Because I would always associate the M with like military ration something.
I can see where you're coming from. It tends to be more of an American terminology. And yes, when we think ration packs, it's synonymous. We immediately sort of go to the military.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But obviously people, and we'll go into that, but people use them for all sorts of
things. So
let's
say it one more time, meal ready to eat.
M.R.E.
That also makes a lot of sense.
However, first of all, we have
Weird and Wonderful. So I have brought in
it's your turn.
Story this week in the Weird and Wonderful.
What weird
segment.
and wonderful things have been happening this week, Zak?
So the headline is, hats off to rescued hedgehog.
Ooh, I want to know all about this.
So in a wildlife hospital in Cheshire, a rescued hedgehog was brought in one night.
Righty-ho.
But unfortunately, the small baby hedgehog wasn't eating food or doing much moving around.
Oh, bless.
So it was in a poor state.
Oh, dear.
But in actuality, the next day, it was discovered that this rescued hedgehog wasn't in fact a hedgehog.
Oh, what was it then?
It was a bobble.
A bobble?
Off of a bobble hat.
A bobble hat. So they're taking it to the vets?
It was taken from the roadside and then taken
very carefully to the vets.
To the vets.
And the vets put it in a cage.
Fed it. Tried to feed it anyway.
Gave it some food and some water.
It was only discovered the next morning that it was in fact a bobble hat.
Wanted to check to see if it eaten anything.
Exactly.
And it was a bobble hat bobble.
I don't know how it got to that point where...
Well, I can only imagine, for those, obviously people know what a bobble hat bobble is, I can only imagine that it must have been kind of very matted. Maybe, to kind of look spiky or something.
I mean, I've seen the picture. It just looks like a bobble, to be honest. I really don't quite know why
maybe it was very late,
mistaken.
Maybe it was very late at night. I mean, they had to have handled it.
Exactly.
Oh, dear.
Like, I wouldn't expect a baby hedgehog to be, like, furry in that sense. It would at least have some prickles upon it.
Maybe it was very late at night, and the vet just went, all right, we'll just pop it in the cage there.
Perhaps, yes. Perhaps. I think that was probably the case.
But it turned out to be a bobble hat bobble.
Yes. So actually, the hedgehog is actually safe, but it wasn't actually a hedgehog. So
there you go.
There we are.
Interesting factoid about bobbles.
I thought it was going to be about hedgehogs.
No, not about hedgehogs. I'm sure I could come out with some interesting factoids on hedgehogs because we have rescued many, many hedgehogs over the years. But no, bobble hats.
Yeah.
Okay, bobble hats are synonymous, especially obviously wearing them in the wintertime to keep your head warm.
Yep.
But they have a big, big woolen bobble on the top, which is obviously, unfortunately in this instance, mistaken for a hedgehog. Okay. But do you know why they have bobbles on the top? You think it was kind of like a fashion thing?
Well, I mean, it has become that, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has become that. But
it's typically associated with winter wear.
That's right. But originally, they were actually designed for, I believe, the Scandinavian countries' fishermen. The ones that initially put bobbles on their hats.
Did that have a function?
Yes, because when you're in your fishing boat, and you're going thrashing around in the sea, and you're out there maybe for 6 weeks at sea fishing. When you're down below decks, it can be very tight, and the ceiling height isn't very high, and going through doorways, you have to duck to get through doorways. So the fishermen's wives started putting bobbles on the top so that they wouldn't bang their heads. If they banged their heads on the ceiling, it gave them a bit of top of the head protection. If they banged their heads.
So was it a protection or like an indicator?
No, it was a protection, just in case you stood up and bopped your head on the ceiling above you, it stopped you from banging your head.
So that's interesting because how that's actually developed into just being
a fashion thing. Yeah, but technically, a bobble on a bobble hat is stop you banging your head when you stand up in a fishing boat.
A very interesting factoid.
There you go. Anyway, not what we're talking about today. We're talking about M.R.Es, meals ready to eat.
Yep.
Now, as I may have said, it's an American terminology generally, but everybody kind of has. I suppose it's like saying you're going to do the hoovering, and you're using a Electrolux or a Dyson. Exactly, but you still say I'm going to hoover. So it's kind of a general term. To talk about pre-packaged ready-made meals is an M.R.E. In the British Army, they're actually known as ORPs, or Operational Ration Packs.
That's not as catchy, though, is it?
An ORP. Or, as I'm sure plenty of ex-servicemen and servicemen in the British forces call them rat packs. So it's just a rat, short for ration pack.
Ration pack, yeah, that works. Yeah, that's good.
A rat pack. So anyway, so we're talking for your prepping. Are M.R.Es pre-prepared meals?
Are they practical?
Are they practical to have in your preps? Are they, both cost-effective? Are they, worth having some in your preps, or is it a complete waste of time to have them? That's what we're talking about. Is it
because they're not like readily available, are they?
Well, yes and no, because there's different ways to look at them. Of course, when we immediately say we're talking about M.R.Es, you immediately, as we already stated, think about military aspect, because if you're military personnel, and ration packs, they go back centuries really, not necessarily always been over the centuries the best things. People having things like hardtack, which were like really, really hard biscuits, which were known to actually crack your teeth when you tried to eat them. I know you have an issue with the sesame seed snaps in ration packs.
Oh, yeah.
But, the hardtack used to actually crack people's teeth, and you literally had to soak it in water or a cup of tea to try and get them. But I mean, ration food for the military goes way back to probably the year dot. But for example, in the medieval period, you would have make pies. So if you could, obviously we didn't have tin cans back in the medieval period. So bakers would make pies which had a really high salt content pastry. So it basically acted like a tin can because it didn't deteriorate.
Right.
It was inedible. Yeah. But what it was is you could make the pie, and then you'd just break it open and eat the contents.
Didn't miners use a similar thing nowadays?
That's with Cornish pasty, which was your food wrapped up in a pastry.
But again, obviously it became popularised, and then they made the outsides edible.
Yeah, it makes the outsides edible. So then we come on to the Napoleonic War period, and I think, if I recall right, that's when tin cans around that time were first invented and used. And so then it became a lot easier to put food in tin cans and then distribute them out to your frontline troops. Yeah. Because that's what we're talking about. Ration packs are generally distributed when we're talking about the military to frontline troops and to troops out on operations where they need to carry their own food. Whereas, obviously, if you'll be further back away from the front line, you still have mess tents, kitchens, and
exactly.
You don't have to carry your food with you.
So
you've got the military aspect, but they're not the only people that use them, because we still have people who do adventuring, like trips to the South Pole, trips to the North Pole, trips up mountains, up to Everest, in the Himalayas, wherever, all sort out
into the Amazon,
out on sort of around the world yachting and things like that, where you don't have time to stop.
No, so you have to have a store.
You've got to have a store of food that you can just eat as you go, with minimal preparation, etc. So you've got and just in kind of everyday activities. Let's face it, if you're out and you're hiking,
exactly, we've done that several times.
Stuff if you want to,
It's essentially like
out in your canoe.
So its basic form is kind of like if it was like a day trip or anything. It's kind of like almost a picnic type thing.
That's right. And so,
but it depends how practical that is.
Usually, you'll get M.R.Es in either a 12-hour or 24-hour pack. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So that was one of the questions I was going to ask.
So 12-hour, 24. I must admit, I don't see that many 12-hour ones, but the 24-hour ones are really what you want.
So within the contents of that pack, that is 24 hours worth of food.
And generally, with a military ration pack, can't say if the calorie content is exactly the same with, and we'll talk about other ones you can get, but when you buy things individually, because you can go to places in the UK like stores like Go Outdoors and anywhere that does outside pursuits, you can usually buy kind of ready to eat meals.
Cotswold Outdoors.
Places
stuff
like
that.
But generally, if you're talking about military one, they will contain about 4,000 calories for 24 hours. Now, the normal calorie intake for a man, depending on average, say they're doing their daily recommended activity of just normal living and moving around, you would normally expect a man to consume about 2,500 calories.
So that's actually quite a big difference.
And a lady, about 2,000 calories.
That's actually quite a big difference.
It is. So with a military one, 4,000 calories, but then you've got to think that you are carrying packs.
Yeah.
You're probably route marching. You don't know what you're doing. You're doing a lot.
Yeah.
And you're going to be expending a lot of energy, potentially far more than somebody who's just getting up, going to work, going to the office and coming home.
Because I will say that I have had several ration packs in the past, and they have all been 24-hour ones. And I will conclusively say that I have never actually eaten everything within that time span.
Yeah, that's
I've always had something left over.
Yeah, I suppose it really depends on. Well, we'll get to the contents of them, but it really depends on if you have stuff left over. It's dependent on how much activity you're doing, because I'm sure that if you were really doing a lot of physical activity, you might be going, I'm starving. My body is literally craving some energy.
And especially
with ration packs, you usually get like high energy drinks.
And putting this into this kind of prepping zone, that's exactly what you'd be doing. You would be expending a lot of energy.
Yeah, well, let's look at the point that we're coming from. This is a prepping podcast, and we're looking at how MREs might feature in your preps. Are they worth it, or are they not worth it? So let's put it into the perspective of you're obviously prepping, and you've got your prep food stores at your place of residence. My personal first approach would be to just stick with your normal tin foods, long life foods that you can keep on shelf, or if you're going to do your own canning and things like that. Far cheaper than buying MREs. Okay, so if you are limited on budget, I wouldn't even look at MREs probably initially. But if you are literally staying at home, if you're in a situation, as we've said, we're practical preppers. So if you're in a situation where it might be you live way out in the countryside, you can get cut off by snow, you can maybe have power outages, and you probably in that situation, if you're sensible, you would have a backup generator to run your fridge and freezers. But you're going to have food stores which are going to last you, which are non-perishable, or at least are going to last for a long time. And these food stores, you can obviously rotate the stock as time goes by. And it's not all about the end of the world. Okay.
No.
But
that's again dipping our toes into that doomsday prepper idea.
You got the doomsday prepper idea, but you never know when something depending on where you are in the world. Obviously, we're in the UK. We're not going to really suffer from a major earthquake, but plenty of other countries around the world, and countries that are probably listening to our podcast, can have things like an earthquake where suddenly you are affected, your supply chains are cut off, things like that, and that's why it's very sensible to have preps. And as we've said before, there are many, many countries where governments, they actively encourage their citizens to make sure that they have backup supplies in case of a localized or national emergency.
Well, isn't there we did another podcast on this for the UK, wasn't there like a national ready preparedness program or something that was being introduced?
Yes, that's being introduced by the UK government, and that is meant to be the Resilience Academy.
That's it. Yes,
the Resilience Academy, which is meant to basically bring everybody together, and we've spoken about that before, so I don't need to go over it in detail now.
If you haven't listened to it, go listen to it.
But part of that is encouraging individual households to, for practical reasons, make sure you've got some preps, or even as we've discussed in previous ones, making sure all your documentation is in one place. You can grab a grab bag and you can get out of there if needs be. Anyway,
so
but we're talking about the practicalities of M.R.Es within your prepping.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are the standard prep, I don't think that they are value for money. If you are just standard prepping at home.
Well, that's the thing. It's in popular media like films and things. I'm going to go with a big one for me, Tremors 3.
Okay.
Burt
we always love to apply prepping stuff.
Burt Gummer, he is a big prepper.
He is.
Or in the fifth one, he says that he's a survivalist.
Exactly. It's all in the mind.
But there's a big stint in the third one about he's got all these long-lasting military ration packs.
That's right.
However, the amount of money to actually have them in the quantities that he has,
we will go over cost,
is going to be quite extortionate.
Yeah, it will be
for the reality of it.
It will be prohibitive. Give me teeth. Prohibitive for your average everyday person because they're not cheap.
Yeah, exactly. That's the kind of counterintuitive thing about them.
I mean, there are some ridiculously priced ones. You can go on the on things like Amazon, for example, and just look up, sort of like long life emergency food sources, and they are absolutely crazy prices.
Well, that's the thing. I think
I've got. We have got in our stores those energy bars,
protein blocks,
which
type of things.
They've got a 45-year lifespan because they're in their own Mylar bags, and we're going to come on to Mylar bags, but they're vacuum sealed into Mylar bags, and they are meant to last for up to 45 years. So that's what I mean. But when you have food stuff like that, it costs at a premium. I bought those just out of interest.
Yeah, and we did a little taste test on those, didn't we?
Taste test on those. However, with having the expense of M.R.Es, and let's look at the prices. I mean, the prices vary probably, again, depending on where you are in the world and the availability in the world. It could be possible. You mentioned about Burt Gummer, obviously a fictional character, but I'm sure there's...
Well, you're telling me he's a fictional character. Graboids are real.
There are absolutely thousands upon thousands of preppers in the States. And it might be, and of course, we see from documentaries, etc. And of course, the States are very, very much different from the UK, because in the States you can go into your local gun store or your sort of military store.
Whereas that is a complete alienating aspect over here.
Over here, you'll get your army surplus stores.
Well,
once in a while, there's not that many. Probably more online these days.
Well, for the layman, it's going to be just like go outdoors. It'll be a camping shop, an outdoor leisure activity shop.
Yeah, most people will go to those. And so, if you're going to go to an outdoor leisure activity shop, as you kindly say, you're looking at M.R.Es, which are individual Mylar packed.
So it'd be like an individual meal.
Let me explain what a Mylar bag is. Okay, a Mylar bag is it's a plastic bag, but also it's lined with metal foil as well. It's like layered, and they're heat sealed and vacuumed, so the air is drawn out as well. And because when you want to seal something in a Mylar bag, you want to make sure it's low moisture, low fat or no fat at all, because obviously it helps with the duration of how long whatever is in it is going to last, and zero oxygen you can get the oxygen.
Light, I suppose.
Well, that's the thing. The Mylar bags, because they got that layered foiled, the way they're made up, light doesn't get into them. You see, so you're protecting the food from light, from oxygen, from fats, and from moisture. And the only other thing you're going to have to do if you're going to store them is be aware of temperature, making sure that you keep them in a cool, dark place. Best that you can do. But if you go to somewhere like Go Outdoors, for example, in the UK there's a range, and there's probably lots of different ranges, but there's one that always springs to mind, and it's called Wayfarer. I think you've had the full English breakfast ones and things in the past.
But potentially.
I'm sure you have. And they are, I looked online, they retail about £5 for one Wayfarer
one sachet
pack. Yeah, one pack, okay, which is meant to be one meal.
Yeah,
okay?
one meal, yeah.
So if you have one pack, you've woken up in your bivvy bag or your tent or under your tarp or whatever, and you're out and about, and you have one for breakfast, one for lunch, one for your evening meal, with nothing else.
Nothing else, yeah, that is a big thing.
That's going to be £15, okay? That's £15. Now, if you go onto any of the you can go to military websites in the UK, and you can go to, obviously we said, army surplus stores and things. Just backtracking slightly, I was saying about America. I'm sure in America they probably can get a better price and buy it in bulk than we can in the UK.
I would imagine so.
That's where I was going with that thread. The fact is they have such a lot of access to things we don't get readily over here. So you've got more of a limited supply chain in the UK. So if you're not going for kind of like your £5 Wayfarer packs, then that really leaves a couple of other options. Either you go for your military ration packs, if you can get hold of them. You can make your own M.R.Es by shopping from supermarkets at different products. I'll come to that in a moment. Or you can make your own M.R.Es yourself. Okay, you can buy Mylar bags, and you can obviously prep your own food, and you get a Mylar bag sealer, which is a heat and vacuum sealer that'll suck the air out and seal the bag. So you can do that. Obviously, you've got to initially invest in the equipment for that.
Exactly, yeah.
Invest in the bags and spend the time doing that.
And I suppose in that sense, it would have to be effective for you to do that.
That's kind of why, going back to what I first said, if you are prepping and you've got your food stores at your home base, I don't see that they're adding ration packs to your home base stores is really cost effective. You may as well just stick with standard long life food that you can buy, or basically batch cooking,
especially that stock rotation, as you were talking about.
Batch cooking your own food, and sealing it up, canning it yourself.
So in that sense, does it not serve merely as like an aesthetic thing?
Well, let me get to that. So we've looked briefly at the Wayfarer ones. Cost you about £15 for a day. So let's compare that to a military ration pack in the UK. Now that depends on where you purchase them from. Generally online, again, at time of recording, I've been having a look around at the average price online for a British ration pack is about £19.99p.
Okay, so
20 quid.
For instance, off Amazon and similar places?
No, that's just either off of independent military supply places,
right,
or on eBay, and other auction sites probably do the same. But they're about £20. Okay. In fact, I saw on eBay you could get them between £16 and £18. But if you look at it, you're getting it offline. I don't know if sometimes they might be putting a little bit of extra charge on top of that price for the P&P, post and packaging.
That's always the thing.
Okay,
yeah.
So
could be.
If you've got your ones, you go to your mainline adventure stores and just get 3 meals and nothing else for £15.
Yeah.
Or you can get a army ration pack for about £20. You mentioned Amazon. I went on Amazon and exactly the same thing. A British Army ration pack on Amazon is £29.99.
That's a massive jump, yeah.
That's a massive jump. 30 quid.
So
it's an extra tenner.
Why do you think that in such instances it's become so expensive? Could it be that it's been popularised?
I would probably say that they are popularised, as you say, and that probably puts a premium on them. And also the fact that they are, they're fuss-free. Your meal is there. You don't have to do any prep.
True.
Or anything else.
Because similar instances have occurred where it's actually been marketed as astronaut food, and I'm talking about
freeze-dried stuff.
My experience at the Leicester Space Centre in like the gift shop. Yeah. That was part of that experience.
I don't think I'd be buying me M.R.E. food from a gift shop in Leicester now.
But they had obviously these. They looked like M.R.Es.
I know. I've seen them sort of astronaut freeze-dried ice cream and stuff like that.
Essentially, yes. But obviously, again, it was an instance that there was a premium price on them.
I'm sure. Kind of gimmicky, yeah?
Yeah.
You got to watch out for the gimmicky stuff.
It's the ability to tell when you're being...
Yeah. But my point is...
Scammed. I wouldn't say scammed, but like, you don't want to be taken for a muck.
No. But this is my point. They're not cheap, okay? If you can get... a military ration pack from around £15, let's just say that, the cheaper end of the scale, you can get a lot more food for your £15 to go in your standard stores.
Yeah.
Okay, and you can batch cook a lot more food that you can then can yourself, put in jars for £15. So what you got to ask yourself is, do I want to pay that premium for food that I can literally just tear open the packet and it's there?
Yeah.
However, I don't want to be totally negative about M.R.Es because they do have their place in prepping. Because if you've got your food stores at your prep and you suddenly have to up and leave, your house is suddenly overnight, no warning at all, you're getting flooded out. You've got to get out of there.
Yeah.
You want to grab that bag, your bug out bag, and probably have some food in it. Some supplies you can grab. Or you're out in your car and your car breaks down in the middle of nowhere and you find that you're waiting 5 hours before rescue comes and gets you.
Yeah.
Or you happen to be caught in your car and it's a bad weather situation, traffic jams.
Yeah.
And so you want some food, you want some drink. That's why it's always preferable to have some water in your car. And so there are instances where having an M.R.E.
becomes
is
very
really useful. And a further thing with prepping, and as we've said before, you can look at this from the doomsday prepper perspective when I talk about caches, okay, where you cache stuff. When I say cache, I'm not talking about money for those people listening. I'm talking about where you basically get a watertight barrel or container that you can put supplies in, and then you go and bury it somewhere. Now, that might seem extreme to people listening, but not necessarily extreme in the case of if you live somewhere where maybe you are in a low-lying valley, or if there, I hate to say it, if there was some kind of civil disorder and you had to get yourself out, and you have minimum stuff with you, or you don't even have time to grab your... anything to take with you, you've got a cache somewhere else with
that you could fall back
supplies in.
Exactly.
Or you might have 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or however many caches that
you feel you need.
You feel you need. So preppers do, in certain instances, if they feel a need in their preps, they will have caches. And what better than to have 24-hour ration packs in your cache, which basically can last for years. Okay, they're still opening and eating ration packs from World War II, on occasions, and testing out if they're still any good. With Mylar bags and well cared for foods, I think they say with a Mylar bag you can have up to like a 25-year lifespan, if not more. Yeah. So having an M.R.E. and popping it in cache, or having an M.R.E. that's already in your bug out bag or in your grab bag or in your car, they're the kind of situations that I would say gold standard, good idea to have them. I mean, even for something very simple, we do bat surveys over the summer period.
Yep.
And in the past, we've been bouncing from doing dawns to doing dusks and then driving overnight to somewhere and for another dawn, and a lot of bouncing around over the years. And a good example, Sarah Downing, who is a guest that comes into the Now We Know show.
We'll have to get her back.
She's an ecologist, and she's out there doing her bat surveys and newt surveys and badger surveys and all sorts of stuff. She's up and about when nobody else is, and she always carries some of the ration packs in her car because she's got meals there, ready for her.
It also takes out kind of like a degree of indecision on like, oh, what do I want to take with me on this like outing, or oh no, I need to bug out quickly.
Exactly.
You're taking a reliable source of food.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned to me early today that now we're coming into the summertime, we're in British summertime now, and that you fancied, it'd be real nice to go for a hike. Oh. Yeah, great to go for a hike.
It would, it really would.
But if you've already got your backpack and you've already got, you can literally go and grab an M.R.E off the shelf, chuck it in your bag, and off you go.
Yeah.
Your foods and drinks are set up for the day.
Whereas that, to some, would seem a bit of a kind of alien thing to think about.
It might be all right.
To just grab and go, whereas a lot of people will be like, I need to prepare my sandwiches for the day.
The sandwiches and that's the trouble. Sandwiches, crisps, fruit, which they always leave the skins lying around. We're going to get out in the countryside, and a bottle of fizzy pop, which they always discard as well. So yes, that's annoying. But we're sensible preppers, and we're also respectful people, and leave no trace. So everything that comes with us goes away. But the great thing with an M.R.E meal is because it's in a Mylar bag, generally what you do is if you've got little stuff, you can eat them cold, obviously, but they're designed that if you're heating up some water, say you've got your Crusader cup out, you decide yourself you're going to do yourself a drink, you can just literally pop the bag in the water, and that will start boiling the bag, it will heat your food up.
Exactly, yeah.
And then a lot of the time people will use the water afterwards to make a cup of tea or coffee, so you don't waste the water.
Exactly, yeah.
So you can eat that. That's just how easy it is to warm them up. It's not like you have to open the pack, tip it into a saucepan, and then heat it up. You heat it up in the pack if you wish to do that.
Am I correct in saying that we had, was it a Polish one? That was Polish. Not too long ago, that it was like self-heating.
Yeah. They do have different armies across the world have lots of different things in their ration packs. That particular Polish one that you brought up had Hungarian goulash, which was very nice, and that was self-heating because it had a chemical heater in it, which meant you just poured some water into the heater, and with the chemical reaction, it then boiled up and cooked the goulash.
That's really clever.
Which was really nice.
Didn't they also have sprats?
Yeah, some smoked
sprats.
They
were so cool.
Smoked sprats.
I
think it had some hard biscuits and some hard cheese and all sorts of stuff. And we're going to get to that because I've brought an M.R.E into the studio, and we're going to unpack that just so that the listeners can find out what you get in an M.R.E and if it's value for money or not.
Exactly, yes.
Okay, we'll get to that momentarily. But talking about other countries, I think with it in Italy, I think the military in Italy actually get mini bottles of wine in theirs.
Crikey.
Other ones I think get vodka and stuff in. And things. You don't get any alcohol in the British Army ones.
Oh, shucks.
There you go. But it depends on the country you're from. Maybe if you're Japanese, maybe they have sake. I don't know. That'd be nice.
Yeah, we'll have to try some of those.
But anyway, so we've kind of spoken about the prices are up and down all over the place. If you are going to go for a military ration pack, you're going to get far more bang for your buck than you are if you're going to go and buy the ones from
Go Outdoors, etc.
or any other shop like Go Outdoors.
The Leicester Space Centre.
That's the expensive end, unless you're buying a military one off of Amazon at 30 quid. Okay.
Yeah.
So, as I say, I brought a British Army ration pack in. Now, these used to, years ago, they used to come in a cardboard box. Square. Do you remember when
I do.
We took some friends off on a survival course, didn't we?
We did.
And on that survival course, the guy who was running it gave everybody British Army ration packs, and they were in the standard British Army ration pack
box.
Like,
here you go, here's a box.
Yeah, and it's kind of a bit like Christmas, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, what am I going to get in my box?
So exciting.
Because that's the thing with ration packs. They have lots of meal options. It's like meal, A, B, C, D, E. They do vegetarian ones. They probably do vegan ones these days and all sorts. And so they used to come in a box. I think now they've made it. The law has changed. You can't sell British Army ration packs in the British Army ration pack boxes. So now they're either supplied loose or supplied in a plastic bag.
I wonder why that is.
I don't know. Generally, when you're buying them, they are, because they always have a rotational date, and I call it rotational date. You would otherwise call it best before date, but it's not really best before because they last for years, depending especially how you store them. So it's when the military have gone, okay, this rotation, this lot of ration pack stores need to go. We're not going to give them to our troops because they've gone past that date. So that's when they get resold off. And the army surplus stores buy them up and whoever, you know. So we have one here. I've opened it. You can probably hear it rustling on the mics. There we go.
Bit of ASMR right there.
So what have we got in here? And it's going to come out of here. It's a bit of a lucky dip. Okay, so I might be bringing out lunch before I bring out breakfast.
Okay.
That's right. So there you are. You grab that.
Oh, ooh.
Now this is what I mean.
Oh wow.
So this is a Mylar bag. So it's completely light.
It's kind of like a square, like sealed bag
envelope. That's it.
with like a lump in it, and I assume that's the food.
Well, you can tell the oxygen has been sucked out of that before it's been sealed up.
Yeah.
So you've got one. So we're going to go through what we've got in a British military ration pack. What have you got in yours?
So I have a chocolate brownie.
Wow, that was a good one to get
That's
out.
a brilliant one.
Chocolate. It's a good size as well.
What I will say about this is you think it would be like quite small or something, but this is a decent sized chocolate brownie. This is like the size you would like buy it like from a bakery or something.
Yeah, that's a good size.
That's a really good size. It has some heft to it.
Yes. Now what I've brought out is chicken, sausage, and beans. Ooh. There you go, in tomato sauce. So I think that may well be. I don't know. It could be breakfast. I mean, when you've got your ration pack, it's up to you how you eat it.
Exactly, yeah.
You know. So, okay, so you've had your chicken, sausage, and beans, and followed it up with a chocolate brownie. There you go. Have another packet.
What's this?
I don't know.
Ooh, this is.
I'm digging in here. This is what I got for. This is 15 quid's worth of M.R.E.
Okay.
Okay. What do you got?
You know what? This is actually quite odd because I don't actually know.
You don't know?
It says Pindai Chana Aloo.
Oh, it sounds like a curry. It's an aloo. Yeah, it's a curry. Pindai Chana Aloo.
Curry.
Can you read the ingredients?
Ingredients. Water, chickpeas, onions, tomato paste, potatoes, refined sunflower oil, ginger, spices, salt, tamarind paste, garlic, mango powder, black pepper, pomegranate powder.
There you go. You've got a curry in your hands, mate.
May contain nuts.
So you got curry. Okay.
And that comparison to like the brownie, that is like
a good serving.
That is full.
I would say that's the same size as a Wayfarer one, and I keep saying Wayfarer, but there are lots of similar ones. Okay,
well,
I'm not knocking Wayfarer, by the way.
So, what a way of comparing this for the layman, if nobody's familiar with what these packets are, is these remind me an awful lot of like wet cat food pouches,
but bigger,
but like twice the size.
Two to three times the size.
Yeah.
So you got a curry.
I got curry.
What did I get? I got meatballs and pasta. How about that?
Meatballs and pasta.
Serves one. Yes. Meatballs and pasta.
Crikey, we got quite the.
See, that's what I mean. You got to decide when you're going to eat this stuff because some of it's breakfast, some of it's lunch, some of it's dinner in the evening. So what we got? I'll probably get at the moment go sausage and beans for the breakfast. And then I might have the meatballs and pasta with a side order of curry. But I don't know what else I've got in here. So. Okay. We're digging
for choice.
Here, have another packet.
What's this?
I'll go into the packet.
I'm sensing a theme here.
All right. Well, I've got a fortified energy drink. There you go.
Mine's a drink as well. Hot chocolate.
All right. Hot chocolate. Nice. I've got this is probably a fruit. Don't know. Peach. They are peached iced tea. I've got peached iced tea.
Yeah, mine's just hot chocolate drinks powder.
Have another one.
Another one.
there's so much in here.
Oh, there you go. You've got a lemon flavour drink powder.
Okay. Wow.
Now, these kind of drinks pouches are all very similar, aren't they? They're kind of like smaller.
Well, they're all one
by comparison.
serving.
Yeah.
So you just
It'd be a drink.
put that in your cup, fill it with water, swirl it around. Okay, I've got another energy drink one here. Raspberry flavour. There you go, I've got raspberry.
Oh, this kind of looks quite cool. Beyond the beaten track.
Yep.
Just fruit.
What is it?
It's called Just Fruit.
Oh, so that's going to be like a trail mix then.
Right.
Yeah, that'll probably be.
What's
Does
it
it
got
say
into?
raisins?
Sultanas, sweet cranberries, pineapple, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I think it's literally factory can contain peanuts, nuts, sesame seeds, gluten, soya milk, and mustard.
There you go.
Packaged in a protective atmosphere.
And I've just pulled out a packet of oat digestive biscuits.
Now that's a red packet.
That's a red
That's
packet.
a really cool packet.
That's an oat. Crikey. How many packs have we got so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 packs.
10
already.
packets. Wow,
Yeah.
you've got more things to open than you do on Christmas.
Have another one.
So this is Just Nuts.
Just nuts.
So that's the sequel to Just Fruit.
Okay. So you've got some snacks you can be eating between meals.
Almonds, cashew nuts.
Oh, I think I just dropped something.
Okay. I'll reach down and get that. You can go through those things.
Okay, so I have pulled out yet another energy drink.
Another energy drink?
There's an orange. I've got an orange energy drink this time. I have a spicy red chili sauce.
Ooh.
I've got a packet of spicy red chili
Ooh,
sauce.
we do love our chili sauce.
Oh yeah, that'll pep up the chicken sausage and beans.
Just flash back to the chili
I
sauce episode we did.
I do like adding a bit of chili sauce to my beans, so that'd be perfect for the beans.
Just adding a bit of pep to it, isn't it?
Yeah. What did you get?
Interesting. This isn't actually food.
Aha.
This is water purification tablets.
Aha. You won't get that at your local go outdoors.
6
in your pack.
6 water purification tablets.
Right. So
That supposedly
Purify water.
1 litre of water. So that's
Nice.
6 litres.
6 litres worth of
So
water.
the average human needs 2 litres of
litres
water
minimum
per
a day.
day. So essentially, that could last you.
That's 6 days worth. Well, no, yeah. So a litre per tablet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's 6. So that's
you've
3
got
days.
3 days worth of water there that you can purify. What I've got is a packet of 5 storm matches.
Oh, I love them.
Yeah.
So-
These are the matches that you can literally strike on anything. And they will burn even if there's a high wind blowing.
Exactly, yeah. So they kind of act like a flare, don't they?
Yep. So if you're out and you need to do your fire,
They have like a much larger
head on it.
head.
Yeah. So literally, they are long. They are like think of a normal match. The head goes down almost three quarters. Yeah, 3/4 of the match is the head. Unlike just having a tiny little head at the top. Anyway, what's that?
So I don't quite know what this is. It feels like a.
I know what that is.
You know what it is. It's got fruit on it, and it looks like a smiling person out of the horror film Midsummer.
This is a plum fruit puree.
What does that mean?
Well, basically, it's like, do you know the kids, they get those, what they like, fruit tubes?
Fruit tubes. Oh,
You tear
yeah.
the top off and then you just suck the fruity stuff out. Yeah, it's like that. It's basically, this
a froob.
This is like having kind of, well, it's not fresh fruit, but it's like having some fruit.
A mini froob.
Yeah, this is a plum flavour, so it's full of plums, and you just basically have a nice refreshing mouthful of
Fruit.
plum. Fruit.
I think you can have that.
Right, you're in your fruit. Right. However, we have another bag in here.
Another bag.
A bag within a bag.
I thought that was going to be it, but no.
No, a bag within a bag. We're doing well on this. Right, I'm going to dive in. What am I getting out?
Oh,
I've got a spork.
that is a classic edition.
I've got a dirty, great big spork.
that is big.
If you don't know what that is, it's a spoon which also combines a fork.
But it's also got like an extended handle on it.
Yeah, well, that's so you can get down into the bottom of the packets.
Yeah.
So if you tear the top off of these, you want an implement that you can get right to the bottom of the Mylar bag to dig your food out.
Another interesting addition, a packet of tissues.
Woohoo!
A small packet of tissues anyway.
Well, that's great because not only can you use that for blowing your nose, wiping your face, even if you needed to help light a fire, you can use it as tinder.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
You know,
Yeah.
wiping around your billy can. Or
I'm glad you said belly can.
Yeah, no. But let's not go there. Okay, what else? I've just pulled a couple of packs out. What have we got here?
Certainly a couple of handfuls in here.
Okay, I don't know what this is.
Do you need my keen eyes?
Yeah, I probably
Ooh,
do.
that's a fun one.
Directions for use. Unfold new. I don't know. You can read that one.
Okay, you can have this one as an exchange.
Okay. Are they two the same?
I shall see.
All right. So I've got some dental chewing gum. How many lumps are in there? Oh, there's about half a dozen lumps of dental chewing gum in its own Mylar sealed bag.
Aha! So these two things that you just passed to
Yep.
me are alcohol-free antibacterial wipes.
Ah, brilliant. There you go. So if you cut yourself or something, you can give yourself a nice little clean.
Get a burn from cooking all this food.
Cooking all this food. Okay. Right.
Got some tea bags.
Tea bags, nice. Fancy a nice traditional English cuppa.
A beverage whitener.
All right, so that'll be basically powdered milk.
Okay.
Powdered milk. God, this is going and going and going.
So what I've got in my hand here looks like one. You know those like traditional like tomato sauce sachets you get?
A restaurant or something.
Yeah, somewhere like that.
Okay.
Instant coffee.
Ooh, now you're talking. I like a bit of coffee.
×2.
Two coffees and 2 teas. Mm-hmm. We have to count up how many packs we've got in here.
Yeah, I've got a massive handful. The last things are like, how many of these? There's like 7 of these.
Right, 7, they're sugars.
Right.
I bet they're sugar.
White sugar?
Yep. What we got?
White sugar?
Yep, they're all going to be the same, aren't they?
White sugar? White sugar?
You're going to have to listen to this 7 times, ladies and gentlemen.
This one doesn't actually say.
No?
It doesn't have a label on it. I assume it's sugar.
Oh, yeah, probably sugar.
That's the same.
Okay. So
Beverage whitener. Okay. It could be a beverage whitener.
So you've got about 4 sugars and 3 beverage whiteners.
There we are.
Crikey. So we count out how many things we got?
Yeah.
So we got 7
1, 2, 3,
sugars
4,
and beverage
7.
whiteners. 7. Okay, let's count them back here. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and a spork. Okay? That goes back into that bag. So that is, how many did I say? 15?
15.
15 things
And a spork.
in the beverage bag. Meals and snacks. We have, 1. This is making me hungry. 2, 3, 4, 5.
That brownie is so tempting.
We're going to do a taste test at some time. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and then you've got the matches and the water purifiers. Wow! All that for the same price as 3 meals from your standard outdoor adventure place.
Exactly, yeah. So, but comparative to other M.R.E. ration pack.
Yeah, well, go back to the Polish one, didn't have as much in as that one. I think that Polish one was probably a 12 hour than a 24.
Right, okay.
So, therefore, we've now gone through a standard British Army ration pack, 24-hour ration pack.
So this is what you would normally find.
Do you know, I'm not going to get spoiled for choice in that.
Exactly.
I've got breakfast, I've got lunch, I've got dinner, I've got snacks in between.
You've got more drinks than you know how to drink.
Energy drinks, tea, coffee, whitener, sugar,
Hot chocolate.
Water purifiers, matches, tissues, antibacterial wipes.
Don't forget pudding.
Oh gosh, you! I can see you're after that brownie. You really are.
I get a special prize for doing this podcast.
Should I let you open the brownie?
Should I
let you open the brownie?
I don't know.
There it is. Listeners, we're gonna go for the brownie.
We're going for the brownie.
Okay.
Are you sure?
Now you know me. Yeah. I'll eat a brownie, but I'm not Mr. Chocolate, am I?
No.
Oh.
What happens in the studio, Buzz,
Yep.
stays in the studio, unless it's listened to afterwards.
Okay, so he's going for the opening now. Okay, we're going in. The chocolate brownie is being opened. So this is going to be interesting.
Yep, I've broken the seal.
Right,
There's no going back.
No going back. You've got to eat it now. Is this going to be a joyous moment of chocky goodness? Are we smelling it?
Oh, that is blooming.
Let me have a
sniff that.
Oh, that is a chocolate treat, that one. I think even
but look at the size of that.
That's huge. Even I'm tempted on having a bite of that.
So what it looks like is that this was obviously like part of like a maybe 4 or 5 in like a giant rectangle, and this seems to be like an end piece.
Come on in, give us that. Come on, what's it like? He's taking a bite, ladies and gentlemen. He's digging in. Is it moist? Is it dry and crunchy?
It's dry, but it's very
got chocolate bits in it.
I think so.
It looks like it. I can see chocolate and lumps on it.
I haven't.
That's a big beefy bit of brownie.
We'll have another bite.
So, a lot of people do say that ration packs is like eating cardboard. Now, I've never had that experience. I don't think I've had a single M.R.E. where I've turned around and I haven't enjoyed eating the food. But then again, I am not a fussy foodie.
I would have that every day of the week.
Yeah, is that good? Shall I take a nibble?
Go on. I won't tell anyone.
It's got some weight to it.
Yeah.
Here we go.
No, right.
Oh man!
I think in the future, if we're ever looking for ration packs and it says chocolate brownie on it, I think just skip all the rest of it. Don't care.
Excuse me. I don't want any ration packs. I don't care what the. What I mean is, I don't care what food's in it. Has it got a chocolate brownie?
Yeah, because that is a total winner right there.
That's a really nice.
It's too nice, almost.
Now that could have turned out and been like, ugh. You know, what is this thing that they're trying to pass off as a chocolate brownie?
But now we know.
Now we know. Yes. Just right for the Now We Know show. Now we know that the chocolate brownies are pretty damn awesome. And that is a big old lump you got there.
Yeah. I mean, that's like, if you ordered like a brownie from
you went to your local baker's.
Baker's, McDonald's or something, it'd be half this size.
I bet, how much do you think it cost you? £3? £2?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, the British Army ration pack. Yes, if you were going to make up all of your prepping stores from M.R.Es, just for the ease of use. If you got the money to burn, you could do that.
Of course, like Bert Gummer.
You could do that, and literally all you need to add is water. Okay? Literally, that's what it is. So if you wanted to pay £15 for 24 hours worth of food and snacks, if they're like you, Zach, going through that, you'd probably end up, if you're at a week's worth, would you still have an extra day's worth left, do you think?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. So there you go.
Depends how many brownies were in it.
Every 7, you get an 8th day free.
So, buy 7, get 1 free.
But of course, with ration packs, that's quite a weight, that pack. There was a lot in it. So you wouldn't really want to carry 7 of those, 7 days worth in your pack, plus all your gear.
Exactly. That's kind of why, if you were like as part of a group or something, you'd probably kind of distribute it up.
Yeah, I mean, not too bad if you've got transportation. If you're not on foot.
Of course,
You're not on foot and you're not just using a backpack. If you were in a canoe or you're in a car or anywhere you've got extra carrying space, you carry more.
Well, as long as it's not one of those shopping trolleys from the road with Viggo Mortensen.
That was an awful movie. People rave over that movie, but I thought it was
so unrealistic.
Unrealistic. They did everything wrong that they could possibly do wrong. It was just one of the movies I just kept shouting at the TV screen. What are you doing? Anyway, and then they leave a whole bunker full of food. Anyway, after that rant. Okay, so there you go. But that is 24 hours worth of food at that weight.
Yeah.
Think about now if you're going to try and carry 24 hours worth of food in tin cans and other type of solid foods. That's going to be a lot more to pack.
Wow.
And a lot more weight.
Talking from first-hand experience, there was one day where, you remember the day, I literally grabbed my stuff and went out for a hike and a kind of a...
Yeah, you just went out.
Just wild camping for the day.
You went walkabout.
Yeah, well, but not like bad.
No, walkabout.
Just for fun.
Just literally going...
Yeah, anyway, so what I noticed in that experience was the fact that I had too much food.
Oh, you took too much.
Considering I was only going for like a day, I had, 5-6 cans of beans or whatever.
I think you made a bit of a rash choice then, didn't you?
I just went into the cupboard and was like,
I'll take that. And then you ended up not eating hardly any of it.
Ate a bit of it. And forgot my sleeping bag, but
you learned that was a while ago.
Exactly.
But there you go. So that's M.R.Es. Not worth it for your standard preps. think it's a very expensive way of putting your preps together. Certainly you can do it better. One other area I didn't mention is you can go to the supermarket. If you go to a supermarket, you can buy certain foods in Mylar bags. They tend to be kind of ready-made rice meals and chickpea and couscous kind of
type of things.
Types of things.
Usually very colourful, whereas these bags are very much kind of like
just plain.
But
they do them, and they're a lot more value because you're talking probably about £2 or £1.75 for one of those meals compared to a £5 one from an adventure store.
Exactly.
So you can go to the supermarket and buy cheaper, but limited on what? I mean, I haven't seen in the supermarket, like sausage and beans in a Mylar bag.
So is the trick to kind of saving money on this? Is it buying stuff that isn't marketed as M.R.Es?
Yeah. So again, it's down to either you make your own M.R.E up yourself by buying the equipment you need to vacuum seal your own Mylar bags, or if it really is a cost thing, probably stay away from it. But I would say if you're going to have M.R.Es, have them for the right reason to have them. Yeah, you don't need to have your whole prepping stock simply made up of M.R.Es, because that would cost you an absolute
fortune. Yeah.
But to have M.R.Es for your grab bag, bug out bag, in your car, out for an adventure. If that day you went out hiking, you'd grabbed your pack and you'd literally said, I'll just grab one M.R.E off the shelf. Yeah. You would have been done.
Yeah, I would have been fine.
And there you go. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's our roundup for prepping of M.R.Es. They have a place. They can be expensive. You can shop around. You can make your own. And Zak absolutely gives the thumbs up for the chocolate brownies.
Oh, it is a marvel. If you don't get them for anything else, get the chocolate brownie.
Which leaves us with just our last little segment of the podcast, which is
Wisdom of the Week.
Which you just about said with a mouthful of chocolate brownie.
I did.
He's still scoffing.
It's so nice.
But
that's how long it's lasting.
Yeah, it's still going. You still got a third of it. Anyway, Wisdom of the Week. Here we go. When one door leading from happiness sadly closes in your life, another door leading to future happiness always opens. However, do not stay too long lingering and looking at the closed door, or you won't turn around and pass through the one which has just opened.
That's some pretty wise words there.
And you just opened a chocolate brownie, and that's made you very happy.
It has.
And that's where we're finishing off this week. Chocolate brownies all round.
And wisdom.
Hey!
If you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe to the channel and comment below any suggestions of topics or activities you'd like to listen to in future episodes.
That's a goodbye from Buzz as I fight Zak for the last piece of brownie.
And that's get your hands off my brownie. Goodbye from Zak.
Goodbye.
You can find the Now We Know Show podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music and Apple Podcasts. Keep up to date with everything ZWP on Facebook and Instagram, or visit the Zak Wylde Productions website at www.zakwyldeproductions.com. And remember to join us on Patreon or become a YouTube member for early access content and exclusive episodes.